I'm Dave Froehlich. Thanks for watching this CrimeWatch digital exclusive where we take a look back at recent crime stories that have been making headlines in our area and across the state. Police have arrested a man accused of a triple shooting in southeast Austin that killed 2 people back in June, and we're learning the suspect is also accused of committing more violent crimes since then. Fox 7 Austin's Jenna King has more.
The incident stems from the night of June 26. Multiple 911 calls came in around 11:30 from the Trio apartments in southeast Austin reporting gunshots.
There's a dead end just behind me, and that's where the shooting took place.
The callers reported several shots fired and people were heard screaming. 3 victims had been shot. 1 was pronounced dead on the scene. The second victim died at a local hospital and the 3rd survived. The suspect, 37-year-old Hector Olvera, was booked on Monday on the following charges: capital murder, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and evading arrest. One resident previously told us this type of thing isn't uncommon in the area.
I would say the drug traffic in this area alone is probably the biggest thing that's contributing to these type of things.
But this isn't Olvera's first run-in with the law. Court records reveal a lengthy criminal history for Olvera. According to one affidavit, just a month after the triple shooting, Olvera was one of 3 suspects involved in a separate shooting. The group went to a property on Turnstone Drive with plans to steal. But after an argument, the victim was shot in the leg and the 3 suspects drove off. Olvera was being held Wednesday night on the 3 charges from the triple shooting in June, another charge from the shooting in July, stolen vehicle charges from July and September, and a mail theft charge from an incident in July. Before this summer, Olvera has faced dozens of charges involving theft dating back to 2007. I'm Jenna King, Fox 7 Austin News.
Austin police are searching for 3 suspects involved in a drive-by shooting. It's a picture of the suspect's vehicle. It's a newer model gray or silver Chevy Malibu. The shooting happened overnight on Labor Day near East 7th and Red River downtown. APD says the suspects drove alongside the victim's vehicle. A passenger opened fire, hitting the victim, who survived. Police are seeing an increase in pickpocketing and stolen phones near the Red River Cultural District. This is already a problem in October during ACL Fest and during South by in March. But now new reports show thefts near Stubs in downtown Austin. Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt has that story.
Pickpocketing incidents are on the rise in Austin. According to the APD crime statistics website, 440 people have reported being pickpocketed so far this year.
It's definitely like something me and all my friends have to worry about. We have to take extra precautions, with our wallets and our purses.
In a recent Reddit post, it warned others to be cautious after they say a large group of people had their phones stolen recently during the JPEG Mafia concert at Stubs Barbecue on Red River Street. APD did confirm with us a police report has been filed.
I walk around with all of my most important belongings in my pockets, and it's definitely not something I think about.
The Reddit post went on to say that they've lived in Austin their entire life and been to hundreds of shows at Stubs and never had this issue before.
On 6th Street, especially in downtown, more phones or wallets get pickpocketed.
Pickpocketing is more likely to happen at a crowded venue when people aren't paying attention.
When I was a student, I remember a lot of my friends would, because we all have lanyards. One time it actually did happen to one of my friends where our lanyards were pulled, and I'm a bigger dude, and so I couldn't chase them down.
Year to year, the data consistently shows a peak of reports being filed during the month of October. And with the ACL Music Festival coming up, the city could soon see another spike.
Especially with ACL coming up, it's definitely something me and all my friends have to worry about.
Each student we spoke with shared different tactics they use when they go out.
I share my location with my mom and a couple of my friends, so if I ever lose my phone, they can track it.
From sharing their phone location to securing their bags.
I know a lot of my friends zip tie their purses so that they can't, while they don't have access to it, they use their phones with Apple Pay and they just keep it all safe so people can't access it.
Reminding people you can never be too safe and to always be aware of your surroundings.
Some methods pickpocketers use include accidentally bumping into people or swapping one phone in a pocket with a similar object. Sometimes they'll even work in pairs. One person will distract the victim while the other criminal snags the wallet. Those are just a few ways to identify if someone might be trying to pickpocket you. Police have arrested a man accused of a deadly shooting in southeast Austin. APD says they received several 911 calls about a spot on Terry Road around 6 p.m. on September 8th. One caller said her husband was arguing with another man, then that other man had come back with a gun. Another caller told dispatchers her uncle had been shot. Once they got there, officers found 25-year-old Steve Gonzalez in a garage with gunshot wounds. They tried to save him, but he died at the scene. Investigators say Gonzalez was shooting dice with 26-year-old Martin Tovar before Tovar shot Gonzalez. Police later found him and arrested him. Tovar is now charged with first-degree murder. If you know anything that could help with this investigation, you're asked to please call Austin Police. A police chase is caught on camera at a park in South Austin. A witness says the suspect jumped out of a moving car and took off running. Fox 7 Austin's Tan Radford has more.
Recording tricks on a bike at Gillis Neighborhood Park on a Monday afternoon last month turned into video evidence of what witness Mikey Saunders is calling a police chase.
It's my first time at the park, and I had set up my tripod to film my tricks to look back later, and I happened to have it rolling the whole time and didn't realize it.
Saunders says he heard police sirens in the distance and was confused when he saw a man jump out of a moving car.
I thought it was like he had problems with somebody and was, they were going to shoot. I thought they were going to shoot. That's what I thought at first, some gunfire or something. And then I realized the cops were behind him, everything that happened.
In the video, you can see where the car continues rolling as the driver jumps out and starts to run away from police on foot.
And the car comes to a stop at the dead end here at the park, and then the cops barrel in right after him. I put 2 and 2 together, and he had been in a police chase already.
He says if the driver would have arrived a minute earlier, park goers could have been injured.
People come through that trail. It's a trail back here. And I noticed it was a couple with their infant, or toddler or whatever, and they were walking. They had just been walking there 60 seconds before into that video. They had just came out with their kid and barely missed it.
Mikey says there was no one else in the car during the chase.
There's a creek right here with a tunnel, and apparently he hit those tunnels and went that way down Bolden Creek, and because they were here for a second, and then the dog pulled up with a K9 unit. And then they just they went back there for a minute and then they left. I'm curious if they caught him or what's going on with that, and I haven't heard anything.
Police are also asking for help finding the suspects connected to a shooting outside of an HEB in East Austin. These are pictures of the 2 suspects. On August 17th, they shot at victims walking out of the HEB on 51st Street. In the parking lot, the suspects jumped into a white sedan. These are surveillance images of their vehicle. If you know anything about either shooting, you're asked to please call Austin Police. The owner of a small business in southwest Travis County says 2 men broke into their store and stole thousands of dollars in goods. These suspects are now facing felony burglary charges. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has more.
Just make sure that you have a good security system.
That captures footage like this at the eye-smashed phone repair store in southwest Travis County. The first video from the early morning hours of August 20th. A man pulls up, takes a good look inside the shop, examines the lock, stares right into the surveillance camera, walks around, and drives off. Just 2 days later, video shows he's back, this time with tools to open the door and a sidekick. When one of the owners of the store showed up a few hours later,
the door was ajar and it had been pried open by some sort of tool.
And inside,
all of our stuff was missing, our repair screens, batteries, phones, computers. Fortunately, all our customer stuff, our phones, were locked up, so we didn't lose any customer stuff.
But he estimates about $15,000 worth of stolen items. One being a phone that happened to still be on.
And we were able to trace where that vehicle was with the phone inside.
He says he made a report with the Travis County Sheriff's Office.
He just said, okay, but he wasn't going to go down there and try to track it.
So sellers took it upon himself to.
I wasn't thinking, honestly. I just knew that we were a victim, and me and my family, we're pretty fearless as far as protecting our goods and services, protecting our families, and we want our neighborhoods protected.
So he followed the pinging of the phone.
I went down there, located the vehicle, looked inside the vehicle, saw some of our stuff in there.
Sellers parked down the street and called law enforcement.
I stayed down there until APD got down there, which was about 2 hours later. And they looked inside the car and they said, "Are you sure that's your stuff?" And we said, "Absolutely, that's our stuff."
He says the car was towed, and about 2 weeks later, Travis County Sheriff's deputies were able to recover and return a majority of their things back to them. The two suspects, caught on camera, have had arrest warrants issued for felony burglary charges.
They need to be caught and shut down.
Meanwhile, I Smashed hasn't slowed down since the incident.
We were in business the next day.
They immediately bought new supplies and got back to work on customers' orders. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin, Crime Watch.
San Antonio detectives believe a woman who shot and killed a Sonic employee could be in Austin. That shooting happened back in July at a Sonic in San Antonio. Police are searching for 17-year-old Adia Namir Roberson. San Antonio police say she was a customer who got into an argument over using counterfeit money, then shot the Sonic manager. If you have any information, please call 911 or you can call Crime Stoppers in San Antonio. A woman's behind bars for murder after investigators say she sold fentanyl to someone in Bastrop who later died from an overdose. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin has more.
In Texas, a person can be charged with murder if they give fentanyl to someone who later dies of an overdose. That's what happened in this case. In February, the Bastrop County Sheriff's Office found a 19-year-old woman who died in bed at a recovery house off of State Highway 21. The cause of death later found to be fentanyl overdose. Now 29-year-old Alba Canellis has been arrested for her murder. Stephanie Turner, who lost her son Tucker to fentanyl in 2021, shares her thoughts.
It just breaks your heart to know another young life was stolen. What we know about dealers who are dealing this poison is they continue to deal it until they are off the streets. So more lives are at stake, and it's important to go after these drug dealers that are, causing death and harm to our community.
The arrest affidavit says the victim and a friend tried to buy heroin from Canellis but brought fentanyl instead. The friend knew Canellis, identifying her to investigators with Facebook. The two had gone to Austin to meet with Canellis for the deal and smoked some there before going back to Bastrop. Investigators found the substance in the victim's room, and phone records confirmed she used the same fentanyl brought from Canellis.
If you are a dealer who is dealing fentanyl, know that you're risking your life as well. It's not just the statistic of death, it's those who are now in a dependency, struggling with substance use, and then those who have lost their life to incarceration from poor decisions that they have made for selling.
Turner says education and awareness are key, especially for young people.
Drug dealers are easily able to sell and market their products online through Snapchat, Instagram. So it's important to be vigilant as a parent, be mindful of what your kids are doing, and pay attention.
And Canellis was arrested in Williamson County and then transferred to Bastrop County. She's being held on a $100,000 bond. In Bastrop, Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
A woman faces an intoxicated assault charge after an 11-year-old girl was hit by a driver when leaving school. This crash happened in the afternoon on September 6th when kids were getting out of school near Kelly Lane and Falcon Point in Pflugerville. Court documents say the driver ran a red light and hit the girl who was in the crosswalk. 20-year-old Braden Garcia was arrested. Detectives believe she had taken drugs before driving. The 11-year-old suffered many injuries and will require surgery. Authorities in Hays County are warning of an increase in tire thefts at apartment complexes. We're told thieves have specifically been targeting Toyota Corollas, mainly in Kyle and San Marcos. Police are encouraging residents to secure their cars. You can use anti-theft devices, try to park in closed garages or one that is lit with surveillance cameras. Also be aware of your surroundings. Hays County Sheriff's Office, along with Kyle and San Marcos Police, are investigating who might be behind these crimes. Hutto police have arrested 5 teens accused of a recent crime spree. Investigators say they burglarized several cars and are linked to 2 stolen vehicles out of Austin. On September 2nd, around 1:40 in the morning, Hutto police were called to the Glenwood subdivision to check on several reported car burglaries. Police say when they got there, they found 3 of the 5 teens. According to police, the teens did know each other, and after being searched, officers found stolen items in their possession.
There was wallets that were taken, there was change, there was a set of car keys, and there was an iPad, and just a number of papers that had been gone through. and I believe there was a laptop computer was also taken. We noticed that there was property strewn about on lawns in the neighborhood. Some of them had car keys on their person that didn't belong to cars.
Hutto police say they were able to use the footage from the homes in the area to confirm those teens were at the crime scenes. In the last 6 months, the police department says it's had nearly 50 car burglaries, but vehicle thefts are not as common. Anger over losing a job appears to be the motivation for the murder of a 70-year-old woman in Florence 2 years ago. Joshua Galbraith is accused of shooting Diana Peer when she stopped to help him along a road in Williamson County. Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski has more from Georgetown.
When Joshua Galbraith entered court Tuesday, a Williamson County jury wasn't the only thing waiting for him. Galbraith was facing Daniel Gonzalez, a former friend, and the man whose tip to investigators brought about this murder trial. It was a critical point in this trial, according to Williamson County DA Sean Dick.
It was very brave. You have a young man that's obviously was friends with the defendant, but he knew what the right thing to do was, and it was to come forward with the information that he had.
Galbraith is accused of shooting Diana Peer 2 years ago. Tuesday, the jury was shown security camera video of Galbraith and Gonzalez at a Pflugerville bar 2 days after the murder. In the video, Galbraith is seen showing Gonzalez his phone. On it, according to Gonzalez, is an email notifying Galbraith that he was being fired from his job. The two later leave the bar to talk more in a car with their phones placed outside on the roof. Gonzalez testified that's when Galbraith claimed he shot a woman. Gonzalez told the jury he didn't believe the story at first until he read about the murder. The jury heard his 911 call where Gonzalez told the dispatcher, "He told me that he was on some county road at night. He didn't say what, he didn't tell me what day it was, but he told me that he was, I guess, pulled over, and that a Caucasian lady got out of her car, I guess to help him, and that he shot her." The shooting apparently happened around the time Galbraith got his termination notice, and investigators testified earlier Tuesday they believe Diana Peer was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. About 4 months before the murder, Galbraith, according to Gonzalez, expressed feeling depressed and trapped by his job, stating he was in a box, like in a simulation. "Bro, you don't even know I'm crazy," Gonzalez testified as to what Galbraith told him. But attempts by defense attorneys to claim insanity have not been successful. Being upset and depressed, does that change anything?
So insanity is has a very specific legal definition, and so in a trial involving legal insanity, it's not just simply depression or being sad or down or at a low point in your life. It's going to require very specific diagnoses from forensic professionals.
Prosecutors say they have an expert ready to testify to counter any claims regarding insanity. Defense attorneys tried to get the case dismissed, but that request was denied. In Georgetown, I'm Rudy Koski, Fox 7 Austin News.
Now to North Texas, where police in Seagoville say they caught a fugitive from Arkansas who was wanted for shooting into a police car. Fox's Peyton Yeager has that story.
Just after 3 a.m. Monday morning, a Seagoville police officer notices two vehicles parked outside a neighborhood pool. Inside a silver truck, a woman and an Arkansas man wanted for attempted capital murder.
You are being recorded. You are being recorded. You both have identification on you.
37-year-old Chadarius Avery was on the run for nearly a year. Investigators say in October 2023, Avery opened fire on a female police officer through the driver's side window of her patrol car. The officer witnessed Avery in a shootout with another man. It happened in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, about 45 minutes south of Little Rock. The officer wasn't hit by any bullets, but was injured by shards of glass. Early Monday, Avery met up with a female in Seagoville who is not facing any charges. The officer thought it was suspicious.
Because of the time of the night and where he was, I think he was more caught off guard.
Once approached by the officer, Avery was cooperative, providing his real name and revealing he was staying with someone in or near White Settlement.
And where are you originally from? Arkansas. Okay. You are a homicide suspect, attempted murder, Pine Bluff PD.
And what?
They have warrants for your arrest.
Police say Avery also violated parole to a prior charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was transported to the Dallas County Jail, awaiting extradition back to Arkansas.
The moment I ran your name, your date of birth, you have a whole bunch of aliases and different stuff, how you spell your name, it popped immediately for the felony warrants out of Arkansas.
Think about what's going on in the cities that are around us, Houston, Dallas, and throughout the country right now. It's wonderful that he's off the streets.
BK Police Department is launching a one-of-a-kind drone program. The department is teaming up with an Austin startup that's developing an autonomous first responder flight system. Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski has more.
Routes are clear.
This drone is one of 3 that the BK Police Department plans to deploy. It's part of a pilot project that will test and develop an autonomous drone system known as Aviate. The team-up is more than a science project, according to Police Chief Brian Jones.
Well, it's a force multiplier for us, really, because it serves as an eye in the sky and gives us real-time information before an officer even arrives at the location.
The Aviate drones and the computer system that keeps them on target are built by EV Vehicles, an Austin startup. Roger Pacina is the co-founder and CEO.
We've gone through several generations. We've been working on this specific concept for about 2 years.
Onboard batteries provide more than 40 minutes of flight time. Preloaded routes along local roadways are used to reach locations where authorities are being dispatched to.
And when that drone's battery is running low, it'll actually call another drone in the network that'll come and replace it, and then this one goes to the closest nest to recharge its battery.
The video feed from the drone is transmitted back to dispatch. From there, the images can be sent to patrol cars in real time and even to smartphones, helping those on foot. The first deployment is expected to take place sometime next week on limited 911 calls. The full deployment with the entire system is not expected to take place for another 30 to 60 days. The drones are designed to be weatherproof and launch from open-air platforms called Nest. 3 launch sites have been selected for the BK pilot program. One nest will be at the Galleria. 2 local schools, which are not being identified, will also have the Aviate drones. The school sites were selected before the recent school shooting in Georgia, but the aerial views from that scene provide an example of the views that are possible with the Aviate drones.
Say, for instance, the example that you used, the school shooter in Georgia. Heaven forbid if something like that were to happen here and we had the capability, this drone technology capability, we would have that information before the officers even arrive at the scene, so we can better prepare to engage a suspect. We could possibly know their location before the officers arrive, and we could better respond to that situation and possibly save lives.
Wildfire response, as well as search and rescue operations, are other possible uses for the Aviate drone system. BK is not being charged for it, but the base price is expected to start around $8,000. In BK, Rudy Koski, Fox 7 Austin News.
Thanks for watching the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. Our Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. If you miss them, you can watch anytime on our new Fox Local Connected TV app, which is free to download. Then you can watch on multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. Just scroll down from the live player and look for the Crime Watch section. For more on the stories highlighted in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.